Hello everyone. I'm Acting FAA Administrator Billy Nolan, and I'm honored to speak at Aviation Festival Americas about how the FAA promotes passenger safety. A very wise man once said, without promotion, something terrible happens. Nothing. For the FAA, safety promotion means getting the word out to change behaviors. If we do nothing, something terrible certainly could happen. When the data shows trends we don't like, we join the left and the right halves of the FAA brain, so to speak, our technical experts who have the data with our creative folks who have the communication skills to come up with innovative ways to get our safety message out. We take to the airways, the media and social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn with targeted messaging. While flying is the safest way to travel and emergencies are rare, we arm travelers with safety information they can use before and during their flight. Now, the FAA isn't in a social media league with Ronaldo or Justin Bieber, but with 1.6 million followers, we do engage with many influencers, stakeholders, and travelers. Recently, we've been engaging a great deal about unruly passengers, a phrase that has unfortunately gained new prominence in the American lexicon along with COVID-19. It's an area where the FAA has done a great deal of safety promotion. We've been reaching millions of travelers through creative videos and images across our social media platforms and through all of the major news outlets. While we've always had a certain number of unruly passenger incidents every year, it got a lot worse 2 years ago when passengers were required to begin wearing masks. We immediately began to see an increase in reported events. It was clear that rules were not being followed, putting crews and passengers at risk. Alcohol, assault, and refusals to wear masks were common themes in the incidents, like the inebriated Frontier Airlines passenger in December 2020 who refused to follow a flight attendant's instructions, would not wear a mask, kept arguing with those seated next to him. In a final act of immaturity, he hit the passenger next to him on the head. In case you're wondering, we had the last word. After an investigation, we levied a $20,000 fine on the passenger. Unfortunately, the unruly passenger phenomena escalated in January 2021 when the TSA issued its mask mandate based on CDC guidance in early February. It got even worse. In 2020, we had been seeing fewer than 3 reported unruly passenger incidents per 10,000 flights. But in 2021, the rate more than quadrupled. My predecessor, Steve Dixon, took forceful action, announcing a zero-tolerance policy.
We have zero tolerance for threatening or violent behavior by passengers, and will take the strongest possible enforcement action against any passenger who engages in it.
In the past, the FAA addressed unruly passenger issues using a toolbox of warnings, counseling, and civil penalties. With the new policy, we went right to the hammer. Zero tolerance, no warnings, legal action, and fines for any passengers who assaults, threatens, intimidates, or interferes with airline crew members. In February 2021, we published the first fine under the zero tolerance policy for an unruly passenger. $27,500 for a Delta Airlines passenger who refused to wear his mask, secure his seat tray table, and fasten his seatbelt before takeoff. In the months that followed, we issued more press releases, all detailing similar egregious behavior. There was cause for optimism, however. The data showed that unruly passenger rates were steadily decreasing through the winter and spring of 2021. By early summer, the rates were down, but still not back to 2020 levels. Zero tolerance and fines were working, but we needed to do more. The trick was how to get the message out to the people who really needed to see it. We put our safety promotion machine into high gear, developing a series of creative social media memes to draw attention to the problem. We also reached out to some pretty non-traditional media channels. Well, at least for a federal agency, to get the story out to the people that needed to see it. In early summer, we launched the first in what would become a series of public service announcements taking a cue from the ancient text The young and innocent are often unexpectedly wise.
Fighting is not good when you're on a plane.
They'll go to jail if they keep doing that stuff. I would be really scared. I would not like that if someone did that to me.
They should know better if they're like adults.
They're a grown-up and they have to play a good role model.
I think it's very disrespectful.
You could distract the pilot if it gets that bad.
That is so unsafe.
They should stop.
We packaged all of the content into a zero tolerance for unruly and dangerous behavior toolkit, which you can find at faa.gov/unruly to keep airports, airlines, our partners like TSA, media, and the public informed. The unruly passenger problem didn't stop, but the rate of incidents continues to drop. When combined with the removal of the mask mandate in April, we are in a much better place today, but continue to monitor for trend and message where needed. The lessons learned from the unruly passenger experience are helping us in other areas, including safety messaging for how and what travelers pack in their suitcases. It might seem like a no-brainer, but with 4th of July coming, we'll be reminding travelers in the coming weeks that it is not a good idea, and in fact, it's illegal to take your fireworks on the plane. Fireworks are just one of the prohibited hazardous materials that TSA screeners find in carry-on and checked bags, items that could seriously jeopardize the safety of everyone on the plane. The FAA doesn't regulate hazardous material on aircraft. That's the DOT's Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration job. But we are responsible for making sure airlines, cargo carriers, and passengers know how to pack and ship goods safely. So our hazmat safety inspection teams work with PHMSA and the TSA and others, both here and internationally, to scour reports for incidents like fire, smoke, or extreme heat involving lithium batteries. That can include laptops and phones going into thermal runaway or e-cigarettes, vapes, catching fire. A few years ago, the data showed a growing number of incidences where the lithium batteries in the vapes were overheating and posing fire risk. That's why e-cigarettes and vapes were banned from check bags. While we don't want any device to overheat, if it's carried in a cabin, we can at least get to it and quickly extinguish the fire. Our data still shows some passengers continue to pack vapes incorrectly, that is, in checked bags. So we developed a social media campaign called Vapes on a Plane, alerting passengers to the fire dangers of e-cigarettes and vapes and showing them the safety precautions they should follow. It's all part of our Pack Safe safety promotion campaign, which is a big part of our response to these types of incidences. We regularly push out social media blasts that are timely for the season, like 4th of July and fireworks. And we provide a full roundup of how or if you can carry a wide variety of materials on board aircraft on our website, faa.gov/go/packsafe. The good news in all of this is that at the end of the day, there are far more travelers who follow the rules than don't, and we appreciate the help. For FAA's part, we are always watching the data, and we are always promoting so that something great happens: safety. If you have more questions about our work with hazardous materials, you have a unique opportunity at the festival. Our experts are in Miami in person. Stop by and see them. Thank you for listening.